Boom, and we're live. Episode 47. What's happened, Georgie?
It's all happening, Shawnee. How are you? Thanks for having me back.
Cheers, Habibi.
Allah al-Bak.
We're just saying off air. Can't see this, we're drinking coffee. Never trust people who don't drink coffee.
I second that.
Hey?
I second that for sure. It's actually a bit weird to me.
Would you marry someone that didn't drink coffee?
No way. I got respect for them. At the end of the day, your body, your choice and all that stuff, but come on, man. I need someone to share my coffee with in the morning.
Yeah, that's... What did country singer that died, what was his name? The big drinker. Something Nash, was it?
Kevin Nash?
No. What was the alcoholic?
Kevin Nash is the wrestler.
The alcoholic's name. The famous country singer. He lived to like 90. He said his version of bliss is drinking coffee with someone in the morning. Drinking coffee with his partner.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. Yeah.
Oh, Cash, yeah. Johnny Cash, yeah. That's old school. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
It's pretty true.
Yeah.
I love my first coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Proper love. And also, to the whole function of like, I can't operate without my coffee. As much as I hate those made famous coffee first and whatnot, I vouch.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I know. We were talking before, like about being run down. I was saying when I had an anxiety attack, that was the time where I was working all day in the gym and just training too hard, no recovery. But there's a difference between like you want your first coffee in the morning versus like you're literally so drained you can't.
Yeah.
Then you push it too far.
Yeah. Well, look, taking multiple factors into consideration, if you're overdoing it on coffee in general, it's probably going to have adverse effect rather than the actual pick-me-up sort of thing.
Yeah.
And depending on how high your tolerance is sort of thing, because I could have like 4 coffees a day and still sleep 6-7 hours straight through the night. Still don't feel as good as when I don't have a coffee after midday.
No, but you know when you're drained and you're like, I'm going to have to overwork myself.
Yeah.
Now I can't get out of bed.
You're falling.
I need a drip of coffee.
No, you're falling further into a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're relying on it, you're in a hole. Anything that you're relying on consistently and relying on it more as you go further into the week, into the month, into the year, big dramas.
Yeah, look, when I've overworked myself, like people always been said, you're just like, you need that coffee. Like you're just, what did they say? You're putting like a fucking sticky tape over your engine lights flashing and you're just ignoring that and just putting yourself
you keep going through it. Yeah. Also with coffee, because it is so social and it's so normal, you just think, even if I don't want one, I'll have one. And if you're unaware of the adverse effects of it, sort of thing, people have it thinking, I'm going to pick me up at 3 o'clock, when as you're progressing, you're getting more tired and it's not working, but you need to step it back.
Yeah.
I've got heaps of clients, even in the past, who are like, live on coffee, lawyer people as well, people, I'm on a call at ABC time, just scale back the coffee, instead of having like your cap, have a double shot black, see how you feel. I didn't feel like 1 to 2 in the afternoon, I was peaking. Have a single shot, you cut 2 shots out sort of thing.
There's the thing Nigel was talking about, Luke Tulloch I think was talking about his podcast, L-thiamine, it's amino acid. Nigel obviously, you know, is like jittery at the best of times, but he takes it because obviously he gets, I think caffeine wise he's a quick digester, so it hits him quicker. So he takes that, it just levels the caffeine out, so it takes longer to digest L-theanine.
I can't comment on that, but that sounds, it sounds, I've heard it before, I've heard of things like that for certain people. I'm a little bit opposite to that. I'll have my coffee, the first one in the morning, if it's black, I'll feel it in 5 minutes. My second one, I'll have it, I might feel it 45 minutes later, I'm like, I'm in a zone right now, I'm on.
Yeah, but are you the type that can have it before bed and just fall asleep at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, look,
your mum said
you got to take into consideration. I was drinking raw Lebanese coffee when I was 10 years old. I used to run, I'd be like, can I have some? I'd be like, no. As soon as the back turned,
Yeah, you build your tolerance up.
That's heavy coffee as well. Like when I was having that in the mornings, but that's rocket fuel compared to like a normal long black. And you have 2-3 glasses, even though they're 40 or 50 ml glasses, flying, which is good. Some people will say it's adverse for me because...
No, it's good to, even people that drink pre-workouts, you want to cycle it because you just get too immune to it. It doesn't
way too much.
I went for a stage where I did I think I did 2-3 weeks, where I was a bit more relaxed. I wasn't working as much, so I didn't need to peak as much. So I was just having one in the morning. That was it. That hold me
You would have felt amazing.
Then when I went back 2 or 3, like, woohoo!
You gotta get accustomed to it, yeah, 100%. Because I had a stint 6 weeks no coffee, probably like 2014, maybe 2015. It would have been somewhere around there. My brother owned a cafe, and I went there Friday Arvo, and I was like, "Can you make me a double shot?" Because I haven't had one in 6 weeks.
Well,
Go on. And I hadn't had milk for 6 weeks either. So it wasn't a good combo because the coffee and the milk, they both played
straight through you.
Straight through.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to the back, get out of my way, straight through.
That's the worst thing in the morning when if I get my laptop early, I'm like, right, 1 coffee, that felt good. I have 2, gonna be productive, and then you're just sitting there borderline anxiety attack, need to go to the toilet, and just existential crisis. I'm like, haven't done anything. You know,
as you digest it, as well as it gets more into it and start getting more intense, it's a fine line. Like, it's good,
is.
it's a very fine line. It's good until it's not, and then it's just gone into bad, proper. Can't concentrate, even like you use it and you're like, I'm a bit on, I'm feeling good. You have another one, whatever, you're on your laptop especially, can't concentrate properly. I'm too off tap. I need to do something. I gotta go for a walk. I've gone too far. Shit.
Devil's in the dose.
As always.
What we want to talk about today, and filter it in, is obese people and how kind of maybe people outside the fitness industry or some naive ones in the fitness industry look at people who are overweight and probably like we used to think, oh, they're just lazy, they eat too much, very general statements. And I had Dr. Fionnuala McKay on the podcast before, and she suffered with depression, and she was talking about, I think Jordan Peterson talks about it as well, when you see homeless people in the street, before you probably got, look at that, like junkie, whatever, homeless person, needs to do something about his life. You stereotype him straight away. But then if you learn, guy probably had trauma growing up, just uses drugs to like ease his pain.
Yeah.
And then maybe combined with addictive personality, just put him in a hole. You probably thought of that before, have you?
I've thought of that before. Well, I probably think worse than that before.
Yeah.
Back in the days, but just to touch base on that, if you do look at the primary issue and underlying issues that get someone to be homeless, sleeping in a park, they weren't always like that.
Yeah.
And even if they were, it's so demeaning, it just becomes part of your character straight away. Because such an emotional impact sort of thing, you're going to have big dramas. And it is big trauma. But probably bigger trauma than most. Because everybody's got challenges, everybody's got issues, But if you wound up, lost your business and your family alone, sleeping on a park bench, you got some real trauma going on. There's something going on. Look, no one's there by choice, starving, sleeping in the rain. You know what I mean? And even if you feel like this is not right, it's the emotional impact so intense, it's hard to come back from.
But even if you look at people which may be addicted to alcohol, there's obviously loads of factors. But one of them is like alcohol eases anxiety. So if someone's went through trauma and get anxiety, of course they're gonna.
Of course, they chill you out, bro. You escape it.
They need that, and then that just puts them in the hole from there.
Yeah. See, the thing as well, like alcohol's glorified a lot. Like you need to have a drink, have two, especially we're Aussies in Australia.
Irish the same.
Bro, it's not even if you say, "Oh, I think I got an alcohol problem," I just tell you you're soft, man up, let's drink less, sort of thing. But same thing with drugs. You're always trying to escape something. If you get too far into that hole, whether it's drugs, whether it's food, you're emotionally eating, you're over invested in the negative aspects of whatever you're going through, it's always going to be dramas. But you can come back from like alcohol.
What I think is ironic is people that may do drugs recreationally, and then they'll see someone who's addicted to drugs and they go, oh, you're a junkie. Whereas like, it's kind of nature and nurture. Like that person's 100%. Tried drugs and then they whatever addictive personality combined with trauma, that's putting them in the hole. But like, you're kind of a hypocrite as well.
You're not kind of a hypocrite. You're an absolute hypocrite. That is the peak definition of hypocritical. Also, with that, there's people who are recreational, whatever, and other person's addicted. There's nothing to say that person who's recreational hasn't got an addiction to it. If on Friday your go-to is, because that's putting an addiction in your mind that around this time, this part of the week, I'm going to do A, B, C. I'm going to start with the beers. I'm going to get onto the drugs, and then when those drugs start having lesser of effect, you need more. That's how addiction starts.
That's true.
And if someone's got heavy trauma, they're going to have a lot to get away from it really quickly. Whereas recreational, fun and games, until it's not, you got big drama.
It's the same. What we always look at fitness people that glorify junk food. Yeah, you can handle it because whatever your genetics, there's lots of factors that. For myself, I could eat junk food. My metabolism's good. I can burn it off. I'm never gonna get obese. Versus people we might be trying to help, they can't handle that. Like, they're not good fat burners. The metabolism's not set up that way to they store it easy. The fitness person burns it off, and they're not like, they don't know how to eat in control. It's like, so, again, the same we're talking about recreational, posting the fucking lines of cocaine on Friday night without any context.
Yeah, even just to go back to like the metabolism side of things, myself included in that, because I hold a lot. If I have a real bad night, I'll see it 3-4 days. Obviously, I know what I'm looking at, and I'm paying attention to it, where I'm holding, how I'm feeling. But my whole family is like that. They hold a bit if they go too far. Like, we can put weight on easy, and if you put a bit of effort, it'll be sort of easy to drop it off. But ultimately, the education side of it is going to be the biggest eye opener. However, with those people that are recreational on the drugs or the calories, like you're talking about, posting whatever, there is a whole dark world behind what they're on, what they're doing, how they're training, what they're consuming. But I've come to the conclusion that 90%, it's a pretty high number. I'm going to drive with 90%. I'm going to go with 90% of health and fitness and well-being, whether it's holistic or whether it's contraband, substance, whatever you want, are full of shit. That's it. 100%. They're putting up a facade. Buy my cookie, just buy my program, follow me. I'm doing this to try and get someone to pay attention to me. Minimal results, very low consciousness. But you got the runs, you're talking about health, you're doing lines on the weekend, there's no credibility about you. It's like a priest comes out and preaches the word of God and then goes and stabs someone because he didn't like him. He cut me off in traffic, I stabbed him. You're not going to go listen to that guy tell about peace and love. Stab the guy for cutting him off in the street. Bit more extreme than the PT, but
no, I know what you mean.
That's where we're getting now. It's
we're
too far.
Back to
going way too far.
The same way, like, there's a fine line between body positivity, let's say, and then fat acceptance. Like, I'm not for shaming anyone, but I think everyone should be striving to be healthy. So within this, and people say PTs that just don't understand, they may never been overweight. And we've heard the PT change rooms we've been in, and PTs come down and go, oh, my clients just don't do the work, they don't know. These people don't understand that the gym isn't these people's lives. They're making Bitcoin, big deals. You are sitting here eating out your container, making minimum wage. You're not on these people's level. And you're judging them for being lazy and what others lazy, they eat too much. You always hear PT say, what's that, this person's calories, why won't they just stop eating?
You know what, you do hear that a lot. You see that a lot. Unfortunately, what's even worse than that is that when their PTs tell them what to consume, half the time it's still bad. It's still more than half the time. 80% of the time it's the wrong advice.
Bad recommendations.
Bad recommendation. Cut X calorie out. Cut this macro out, don't eat the carbs, have the food, do a 5-2, do a Atkins, try this, when really just to diverge really quickly from that. Even with the gym, rocking up to the gym, I only train when I'm with them, sort of thing. And you were saying, not only do I not live at the gym, they don't want to be there. No. They come in there because they know this is a good place for me to be.
They're smart enough to book in with a trainer because they know they don't want to be there.
So in that time, education's probably going to be key for a trainer.
Yeah.
Telling someone how this is going to affect A, B, C down the line, sort of thing, and make them aware. But with the food as well, not only for those people, but for everyone in general, ultimately, have to educate them. B, the calorie side of things is ultimately, we know.
Yeah, that's the main
calorie deficit.
Yeah.
But eating quality food,
Yeah.
it's going to take so much more away from that drama.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them fuller for longer, make you feel better. And if there's small changes, if you just say, add some veggies, all right, go from schnitzel to grilled next week, grilled chicken, and then we'll eat a salad with veggies with the grilled chicken 3 weeks later. But that's huge wins for them.
Yeah.
Because those small wins and small changes down the track, that's going to lead to big things.
A lot of advice they're getting is feeding them further into the hole. People that are overweight, obese, there's a lot of factors going on. Obviously, we've talked about like a sustainable plan, a small percentage of that will be made up with, let's say, quote unquote junk food. That's just reality. Or at least we're trying to get them to the stage where, like you said, they consume majority whole foods.
Yeah.
And a little bit of stuff they enjoy, because that's just going to keep them on track.
I don't like junk food. I don't like the word junk
food.
Yeah,
whatever. Foods you enjoy. Let's say foods you enjoy. But let's look at processed food and how people maybe become overweight. Lots of reasons, like we said, that you may look at someone overweight and you may not know, okay, that person had a trauma during childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And they've seen childhood trauma is like linked to massive increase in you just using food to fill a void. Some other people's drugs, like we're saying, alcohol.
Anything to mask the emotion stuff.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Emotionals.
But you won't think about that. When they eat processed food, obviously these foods are designed in ways, and we always talk about food companies, how they just hire the best neuroscientists, straight from the best unis, and so these are making these foods in a way that we overconsume.
Food-like products, you mean?
Food-like products, yeah. That they sell in shops. And when you eat them, obviously surge of dopamine, they're hitting all the taste preferences, and when that happens, it overrides our appetite. Again, we can all know.
Yeah. They're accustomed to it as well. Like, they're already set in their way, especially if you are overweight for a while and you're getting further and further into the hole. If you tell someone, oh, you're not going to have the X food, whatever it is, big resistance.
No, I know, but I want to talk about what's going on hormonally first that drives them further into the hole. So when a normal person gains fat, we've heard of leptin. Leptin's in basically in the fat cell, and that communicates with your brain, and that will regulate your body weight within a certain amount to keep you where you are. So if you overeat, and what's happens, you overeat a little bit, so you gain some fat cells, so you've higher levels of leptin. That communicates with your brain, and it says, okay, leptin levels are higher. What we're going to do is lower our appetite a little bit, and we're going to increase our calorie burn. So we're going to make them move around more, or we're going to increase our body heat, increase the metabolism, and burn that off. And then so we lose that fat and we go back down to where we were. The problem was when we combine processed food in with that, it's overriding the signals. Okay, so what's supposed to happen then is when our appetite goes down, now we've eaten these food-like products that are overriding that. So we're eating more.
Yeah.
And we're eating more and we're eating more. We can't stop. We all know what it's like to eat, like over here, a pack of Tim Tams.
Yeah.
Once you eat one, game over. You've eaten the whole box.
Not only,
and you know you're full.
Yeah, not only you know you're full, like even with that leptin thing, so much more other hormones are affected when you're in that zone. So you eat that burger, chips and whatnot, followed by dessert regularly, your insulin plays a role, your gut health plays a role, everything starts getting smashed. Before you know it, nothing's happening and you can't even burn that cell. Like when you're eating something, your body's just like, I've got heaps of room to store this, my ABC is very high. Resistant, like insulin resistance.
Hijacking all the systems of our body. And like you said, insulin we're going to talk about in a minute. When we eat processed food, it can create inflammation in the brain. Yeah, one of the things, right? Yeah. So we're going to come back to that. So leptin, basically, we're overeating on these foods. That was what I was going to say. Just like when we talk, we get addicted, not addicted. It's a word when you get used to it. Gone blank. get used to the coffee.
Accustomed,
yeah. You would get accustomed to coffee, so you get accustomed to junk food. So when we eat processed food, you release dopamine. But if you keep, and just like you get accustomed to drugs, you're always chasing the first hit.
Yeah.
With processed food, you're always chasing that first bit. So what once was, say back in the day from Lebanon, they might get a bit of sweets, and that was like major dopamine release.
Yeah,
well,
sweets in the village.
but they never eat it that much, so they stay at that level.
It's very well regulated.
Yeah,
very well regulated.
But if you're overriding that dopamine pleasure, what happens? The dopamine receptors downgrade, so you obviously need more
deregulate
and more. Deregulate. So you need more and more and more to elicit the same pleasure response.
Yes.
So look at all this stuff happening. Now there's a stage. What happens when we've gained so much body fat through all this stuff, and then the psychological aspects. You can get to a stage where overweight people become leptin resistant. So they have all this leptin, but because it can't communicate with the brain because there's so much of it. Like insulin resistance, when you've hit it so much, they lose the signal. Yeah. So now what happens? It has the opposite effect. That because you're leptin resistance, pretty sure the way it goes, your body thinks your brain thinks you have low levels of leptin, so it increases your hunger.
Yeah, true.
And decreases your activity.
That's right. I was reading that recently. The leptin papers that
ridiculous.
Back in it. Yeah, but it doesn't know any better.
No,
it's just adapting to its environment. It's a product of its own environment, and you're providing that environment for it, whether it be through trauma or whatever. If that's where it's at, it doesn't know any better.
Yeah, and once it gets to that stage, like you're a bit fucked where you are.
Bad.
Like that's when it's like you can create maybe the people you see on TV where they're like 200, 300 kilos. They just can't stop eating.
Yeah.
Those signals are off.
Yeah. It's a bit extreme. Like, on the way there as well, I'm eating more of that X.
Yeah.
Whatever the food your choice is, your poison is. If you're eating more of it, and I'm feeling worse.
Yeah.
I'm getting overweight.
Yeah.
I'm unhealthier. I'm more
like,
bloated.
what's the point? After a while, you're like.
Yeah. So.
And then
ideally, you'd stop before you get to that point where like your hormones are proper cooked. That would be ideal.
But again, I actually even had a client the other day who came in who gained 30 kilos like after her dad died or whatever it was. So like you just never know what emotions lead into the food to make you feel better. And then like you said with insulin, the same way, obviously the bigger we're going to get insulin resistant pre-diabetic onto type 2 diabetic.
Type 2s, yeah.
So once you're even on the spectrum of insulin resistant pre-diabetic, the symptoms of that, of like, because you can't get insulin in to the cells properly, in a healthy person, you eat food, eat carbohydrates, releases insulin from the pancreas, and that puts it into the cell to either be stored or burned off and stored as glucose. And when the insulin goes into the cell, or when it puts the food in, that also signals to your brain that you're full. But because these people can't get the insulin into the cell, they're hungry. So like symptom of like type 2 diabetes, you're hungry. You can't.
You keep going through it. Yeah, you keep going through it.
So if you combine, you're never full, you're hungry, you're low in energy, and then also the other point I want to get through is because again you're not getting insulin into the cell, and obviously your physiology is kind of is wrecked at that stage.
It's cooked.
You're not making energy, so you have no energy to move.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Great, like Nigel went through the Krebs cycle, so all that stuff's being overloaded where the body where you make ATP.
Yeah,
that's
not working. Yeah, that's right. It's not working.
It's not working.
That's another thing as well. Even with that, going back to like trainers telling people calories just based on that insulin thing that we're talking about. Yeah. Oh, carbs, you can eat carbs, doesn't matter, it's all bullshit, whatnot. I've told people before, look, you're eating A, B, C, every single meal's got sugar, carbs, rice, bread, you're eating all starches, you're eating sugars and sweets. Cut them out for 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, see how you feel. But shit starts repairing straight away, because your body's a machine, it's going to repair. If you give it what it needs, you give it good fuel, it's going to operate better. If you show it respect, it's going to respect you more, you know what I mean? So that's another thing based on those trainers we're talking about. They don't even think about how someone's insulin sensitivity or resistance is. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'll come in and be like, no, you can eat rice, doesn't matter as long as you're in a deficit, not knowing the whole time, not only your leptin's cooked, not only gut bacteria, your gut's inflamed as God knows sort of thing, and your insulin resistant to a point where nothing's happening. You know what I mean? You're only getting a little bit of satisfaction mentally when you eat your cake or your pizza and shit, and you think, you know, I'm not even full. And then those same people are the ones who are lean or healthy or fit, telling people, nah, it's bullshit. If you want to eat a pizza, save your calories during it. You can't be doing that shit.
Yeah, you need to be aware of the effect it's going to have on the person. Like,
you need to deprogram and deregulate, reset, and then come back. You can still eat the stuff that you want later, but if you know better, you can do better. But a lot of people are just like, follow this cookie cutter. That's it.
Yeah, so even
this is the
like
status quo.
I think the most I've dealt with someone who he was 180 kilos. Well, I told, like, you have to explain this, what's going on.
Trump's made by 60 kegs.
Yeah, explain this is like how cooked your physiology is, and go, okay, what's going to happen is you're going to eat, you're not going to feel full, you're going to be constantly hungry, all these signals are going on, they need to know.
Heavy mental battles about to go down.
Exactly.
Like, emotional battles, mental
you're
battles,
going against your physiology, like
100%. But especially if you tell someone, look, over 6 years or 12 months, however long it took you to gain your 10, 30, 50, 70, 100 kilos, and that was an unconscious thing, but you knew what you were doing, all right, there's no real resistance because you're just cruising along, plodding along. It's not a big deal. When you make a conscious decision that I'm going to lose 50 kilos in the next 18 months or 1 year and keep it off, every single thing about your body is going to fight against you. Your mind, your environment's going to start becoming toxic. Everything's going to be a challenge, sort of thing. So it goes back to like a lot of what you say, take yourself out of the environment or just create a good environment. But even with that, for most people, simply just quality food will start helping those people.
Yeah, it's like there's so many different ways to skin a cat, isn't it? It's like that's why you just have to look at who's coming in the door. Just like we were saying, that you could have someone that could maybe be drinking 6 liters of Coke a day, and you're like, all right, just fucking drink some Coke Zero. Let's look at where you're at. Let's just make small behavior changes toward you to make, in our back of the head, you're like, right, I'm trying to get this person to achieve a deficit. What's the easiest way at the moment? Understanding all these factors and move them along the line so they get to this. But just like
simplicity is bliss, bro.
We were talking about porn before, and how people, like anything, you get accustomed to it, and then so you're frying your dopamine receptors, then you're searching freakier porn, and then you've just put yourself in a hole after a few weeks because one-on-one doesn't do it for you anymore, and you're just searching mad shit now.
Right, you know what, it's not even a secret. Everyone knows when you do something for the first time you feel good. 2 weeks later, if you do the same thing, there's no rush, there's no reward, there's no gain, nothing's going to happen. Of course you need to go deeper into a hole. Same thing goes, that porn thing. I've actually trained someone who told me about, like, I'm attracted to my missus, but I can't really.
Well, this is the thing, that because they're doing that, then they don't find normal sex attractive. Like,
but it's not even about normal. Because they're like, I'm going to mimic what I see in the porn because for the last 3 weeks, every night when my missus was away in lockdown and whatnot, I was watching this and this, and it was loud and it was aggressive, and I was flicking through whatever I wanted, a brunette and a blonde and whatnot, and I'm like, you know, that shit is staged as fuck, That's Hollywood, X-rated. It's all bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, but blah blah, and I'm like, go and watch it for a week. Get your imagination back on point. If nothing else, just take the win of not watching the same shit every day to get more fried, because you're already now in a deficit and you're cooking this shit more. Plus, it's going to be an unbelievable win if for the last month you've been watching this every night when you go home, and that's what you're looking forward to, and now you're not on it. So you get a psychological.
I can't remember the name for it when you can't get erect. Like, there's a from watching porn, you watch porn so much that you can't get a proper erection.
There's terminology for it, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
There you go.
With your partner, you can't get up because it's like you're in a hole so much that this doesn't do it for you. Just one person, and like that's nothing.
Isn't that sad, bro?
Crazy.
That's some sad shit.
But the good thing is that, like you're saying, if you take time off, the receptors can regenerate again. The dopamine receptors come back, and the signaling gets back to normal. Same with overweight people and food. If you explain to them, right, these first few weeks or months are going to be fucking hard because you're going against your physiology. We can get you to the stage where you probably have people say, like, if you're eating only the highest processed food-like products, all this dopamine, you need more. If you try to eat a vegetable, it's going to taste like fucking cardboard. Because there's no pleasure.
It's going to taste bad. You psychologically, you're going to feel like I'm losing.
You have
I'm
no
not happy. Nothing.
Yeah.
No reward whatsoever. Yeah, but you have to know that part is resetting.
No, I know.
That's the resetting part. Like you have to tell people, not only is it going to be not tasty and unpleasant to eat, your mind is going to say, don't do this to me. Take me to the pizza.
Yeah.
Get me the shit that I want that got me to where I'm at.
For some people, what you might do also is overly tasty, and then okay, what we're going to do is we're going to sub in something a little bit less pleasurable. So it's giving you a bit of pleasure.
Yes, yeah, I'm with that.
And then you go.
That's my favourite approach.
Yeah, then you go along the spectrum, because if you go too drastic, it's going to taste too bland,
aggressive. Yeah, and then
it's
too much.
They can't stick to it.
Yeah.
So like obviously people who are overweight, and everyone in general, like I'm a foodie, everyone gets pleasure from food, but I think mistake we were talking before that trainers make is they get someone in who's overweight and they go, okay, you can't eat any of this. You're just taking away the only pleasure that person has in life.
Yeah.
At least just
proper stripping
bring them down the line slowly.
Yeah. My favourite approach would probably be when someone's eating, like I eat a schnitzel and mash and garlic bread with sauce. I sometimes get chips instead of the salad or whatnot. I'm like, look, get the grilled chicken, have the chips.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eat the mushroom sauce and the garlic bread. Chips. Or have the palmy.
Yeah.
Salad and veg, bro.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
And if you can, what's realistic?
You're gonna have a B. I'm gonna have a B. All right, have the B, and instead of having the mash, sacrifice one, get a win, move in the right direction. The shit will become more natural next week, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you hit the floor running. But I'll share a story about my mum real quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, my mum's old school Arab. If the doctor doesn't say it, it's not true. That's it. If the mum did not hear it directly from, if I tell my mum, the doctor said, she's like, take me to the doctor. I want to see him. You know what I mean?
It's like the priest and the doctor and the priest.
Proper, yeah. Doctors more, because doctor, when they tell him, this is the situation, they're like, oh, okay. Now, okay, I'll do
that's
whatever.
The generation of like
proper old school generation.
They have a daughter or son that's a doctor. Like first thing, my son's a doctor.
Yeah.
Rubbing it in their face like proper straight away.
And my mum went, got a blood test, super cruise control, would eat an ice cream or two every night.
Yeah.
Probably eat like a Lebanese cheese pizza for breakfast or whatever she felt like eating.
Yeah.
Whatever was left over from last night. Discovered the club, schnitzel, cappuccinos, hanging out there, whatever. Went to the doctor. Oh, your
cholesterol, was it?
Cholesterol and her blood sugar was like 17.
Yeah, fasting glucose.
Yeah. It was massive, like 17.8 or something from what I remember. It was
supposed to be like 7, isn't it?
7.8 for her to 9 would be ideal.
Yeah.
And she was heaps over. Mum's got a phobia of needles. So doctor said, you ever go get this from the chemist, prick yourself in the finger.
Yeah, fasting glucose, because type 2 diabetes.
That's right.
If you're over, you need to inject insulin.
Yeah, so he goes, you need to shoot yourself in the finger, take the sample, put it in this machine. You can get it from the chemist 5 times a day. And she's like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, you have to. And she's like, what else can I do? And he just gave her a list and he said, you can eat this. To be fair, he gave her a good list as well.
Yeah.
Very good list. But because it was so intense, she lost 13 kilos in like 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
People are like, what happened, Denise? What are you doing? And she's like, I went to the doctor. He told me to stab myself 5 times with a syringe, piss myself. I said, no way. He said, eat this. I did. That's it.
Yeah.
And even to this day now, even if it's not like it's become a habit for her. Really? She doesn't wake up and think, I'm going to eat a chocolate. She used to wake up sometimes.
That now, yeah.
But she used to tell me, I had a Mars bar for breakfast. I'm like, you had a what? I'm like, come on, man. You're 66 years old. You can't be having Mars bars for breakfast when you wake up. And he's like, tomorrow I have a Milky Way.
Yeah, because when you're pre-diabetic, when you eat like sugary foods, you can't get into the cell. You go hypoglycemic, so it goes down.
Yeah, proper.
So your brain tells you to eat more sugar, eat foods to bring it back up.
Yeah, to compensate.
And then you're just on a cycle the whole day.
Even her energy was horrible because she'd sit down for 5 minutes.
Once you get hypoglycemic, you're just going to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. She'd have a coffee and sleep, and she's like, coffee's not having an effect. I'm like, you got serious problems, man.
Yeah.
I actually went to the doctor.
If that happens when you're like properly diabetic, let's say you die, like you got hypoglycemic.
Yeah, That's right. But I told the doctor, I'm like, can you tell my mum this? And he's like, no, I can't lie to your mum.
No.
And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm not going to lie about your mum's blood. I'm like, you're going to save her life, bro.
Yeah.
Just lie to her. She's not going to listen to me or my brothers. Just you tell her what I'm telling you, because that way I know she's going to kick her ass into gear really quickly.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm only going to tell her the truth. I'm not going to lie to you, like a patient. This is unbelievable. You're asking me this sort of thing. And I was like, it's going to be bad anyway.
Yeah.
I know it's
Oh,
bad.
you knew it?
Yeah, I knew it's bad. So when he came in and said that, and I was like,
Thank God.
but slept better. Actually went to sleep at night in bed rather than sleeping on the lounge, then moving to her bed. You could just see it. Lost weight. And I'm like, she knows nothing about nutrition and very minimal. Like if you tell her what's good food versus bad food, she'll tell you McDonald's, not good. Home, lentils, good. You know what I mean? That's it, like healthy. Chicken at home is good for you. And even with that, like you're saying, just stripping away food, no exercise, no extra walking, no focus on recovery of any sort, and it starts sorting itself out, sort of thing. So it's crazy, bro, because...
Yeah, weight loss will be the biggest thing that will reset everything.
100%.
So if you could just
strip the
get
weight-
someone where they're at and just... You're going to be able to save them a few hundred calories each meal somewhere,
Easy.
even if it's non-optimal.
Especially if you're excessively overweight.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right, you're going to feed off yourself.
Yeah.
You don't even need to overcompensate with anything.
And actually they said, because people say, okay, why don't they move more? Obviously the energy bit, but it's like, picture yourself running up a hill. You do a 30-second sprint up a hill. Your legs are burning, lactic acid. They're like, that's what overweight people walking around, just normal.
Oh, yeah.
Just did in a few steps, their legs are burning.
Yeah, it's cooking.
They're probably chafing. It's uncomfortable. And they've actually studied that when people lose more weight, they move more. So it's like,
yeah, 100%.
the poor get poorer, rich get richer. Once you start to lose weight, everything resets.
Yeah.
Move more, you eat better, the signals are working better.
Yeah. And that's your whole lifestyle as well. Like, you get better sleep. You get more prepped for sleep.
No,
you wake up more energetic. All of a sudden, I'm going to the bathroom, it's not as comfortable as it used to be.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I'm urinating 3 times a day. I'm not hanging to go.
Yeah.
Where other times people wake up, I'm like, I'm busting, I feel
That's all
uncomfortable,
the symptoms of peanut,
I got a headache all the time. You can't live like that, man. Come on. That's not a way to live.
No,
Straight up.
then obviously we look at like everything else, all the other factors that will lead into someone being overweight. Did the parents cook? Like people that can cook, what hope do they have like of eating good food?
Yeah.
I trained an American person who's never seen a fresh vegetable in her life before. And obviously everyone over there, fried food. She was African American, never seen a vegetable. Obviously low socioeconomic.
Yeah.
They smoke weed all day.
Yeah. Popeyes, chicken and shit all there.
So like,
shit's cheap back there too. When I was there, man, you could be like, I think I was one of those burger joints, I don't know what it was called, and bro, like super sized burger, super sized chips, super sized cola. I think In-N-Out had something called the animal burger or something, like a secret menu stuff, and you're like, this is costing me like $6 to eat 3,000 calories, 3,000 calories in a burger that was smaller than the palm of my hand, sort of thing. So
well, that's why even I'm just trying to get the thing here. Stefan Guina, he's the guy who wrote The Hungry Brains beside me, my PhD, but he's the one who talks about all the taste receptors and how they're all hijacking our food and making us eat more.
Yeah.
And he put this on Twitter. Broke. We eat pizza, soda and chips because they're tasty, cheap and convenient. And he's woke. We eat pizza, soda and chips because the government told us they're healthy foods. So true.
It's so
and he's still alive for now, which is...
I mean, you know what, if you go off what the food pyramid is and what healthy is,
you're going...
It's the deepest, darkest hole.
It's
like,
a big hole.
Forget about, when they talk about conspiracy theory, that's like factual theory.
Yeah.
When you read into it and you see it.
Well, did you see how those food companies rule the world?
Rule the world.
Yeah.
They own the most land on earth as well. Like.
So yeah, so...
On top of that, it's a business, bro. Like it's business for these people. People sit there and they're like, eating is a business, coffee is a business.
Well, health food, I always say this.
Health.
No, yeah, the health... I think
Inverted commas.
someone said it was like, if there's a health aisle in the supermarket, what the fuck does it make the rest of it?
Yeah, I saw that as well. I saw someone else said in the organic section of the supermarket, what does that make everything else?
But the quote unquote health aisle, they're just processed food for rich people. That's what they come out and say. Because like, if you look at how the food, obviously, food companies work by you eating more. Yeah. So obviously they're going to make food in a way that will make you eat more. Whether that's, people always talk about sugar, okay, but it's normally sugar when it's with something else, isn't it? It's like
no one really eats sugar from the bowl. No. Yeah, no one eats sugar from the bowl.
When they're combining the stuff together, it makes it hyper palatable.
Yeah,
that releases dopamine.
Yeah,
but if you look at like even healthy foods, you can combine almond butter and honey, carbs and fat. You're gonna overeat on that.
100%.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Like, and then
hard.
Look at all the protein balls we always used to laugh about.
Yeah.
They're just fat and sugar.
Yeah. It's got 4 grams of protein in it, so
and
it's
you're going to consume it just as much as any junk food. Like.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny that you said that about the honey and the almond butter together, because 2 things quickly. I read an article about like the most pleasurable foods has all of them. Like if you're eating a schnitzel, alright, deep fried schnitzel covered in breadcrumbs, you're getting your carbs, your protein, your fats, and
salt.
Everything. Sodium, but you're just getting smacked everywhere. And then if you pair that with dessert, which is you're getting smacked everywhere, you're gonna get that serotonin, real calming, like bloated. I feel really happy at the end of it. Right, you're getting hit every emotion.
Yeah, well then, that's actually interesting to say that, because he talks about it in the book as well. So, what's it called when the eating competitions?
Oh yeah.
Right? The one in the eating competitions was chips. Alright?
Hot chips.
So
you can consume how much hot chips in a city?
Something like that or burgers. But just like you have food preferences together, so you combine sugar and fat, okay, then you can overeat on that. Like you were saying, let's go back to schnitzel, okay, you get salt, fat, whatever else on that. Then after you get some ice cream, so then you're getting salt, then you're getting sugar and fat, you can eat even more of it.
Yeah.
Because your brain's like, we're getting everything.
Yeah, that's right.
So this person, he was on one of the food competitions, and I think he was eating chips, so like salt, obviously put salt on them, and then like fat predominantly. Yeah, he got full, he couldn't eat anymore, alright? And this is called buffet effect, when evolutionary, if they say if you have lots of foods that you can overconsume, obviously you being Lebanese, you're going to know that.
Yeah,
purely because your brain's like, let's get everything in. Because if we just eat all this different variety, we're going to hit our macronutrients, micronutrients, and we're going to be safe. So he got full on the chips, and what did he do? Ordered ice cream, because then he could eat the ice cream and you get palate fatigue eating the one food. So now he's kind of reset and he's gone back to the chips and he's eating more of them. So he's ordered more food to win the food competition, purely by knowing how to combine all this taste that we get raped on in real life.
Nice shit.
Yeah. I must post a video.
It's pretty interesting, bro.
Yeah.
What's that, like a receptor thing in your brain?
You know when you listen to it's like palate fatigue. When you eat the one food all the time, you get sick. It's like
I know that.
You get sick of it, so you go to someone else, you're like, oh, this.
That's right,
like
variety. So you go from sweet to savoury.
But then you go back to the one thing, because now you've
missed it. Like you've reset the top of your markers with this.
You go back and get another dopamine hit off the chips again, so you can eat more.
That's so horrible for your guts, bro. It's so horrible.
It's crazy.
You know, it's funny as well talking about that, because just to go back on that diet, you were talking about diet thing, how you can overconsume almond butter and nut butter because it's so healthy with sugar.
Well, that's why Louise used to work in a health food shop, and she's like, oh, this stuff's healthy. She gained about 10 kilos working it because she's eating all the almond butter and honey and all the smoothies.
Yeah, because I've come across heaps of clients that are like, I'm a pescatarian, or I'm trying vegan because I think it's gonna, like de-stress my guts and whatnot. And I'm like, you do know it doesn't matter what title you give your lifestyle for food, because that guy's lean. He eats a pizza every Tuesday, and I know that. And ABC leading up to that pizza is counting calories or not counting or being aware. But It doesn't matter if you're a vegan, pescatarian, carnivore, 5'2", fast metabolism, slow metabolism, white, black, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, female or male. It's not going to make a difference what title you give your lifestyle. At the end of the day, if you eat quality food, you're putting quality into your body gives you quality. If you're going too far into the calorie surplus, you will put weight on. If you're at somewhat of a maintenance level, which I don't like that word maintenance, but if you're at a maintenance level and you're happy there and you're healthy, you'll stay relatively the same. You drop the calories a little bit past your maintenance, so you might eat the same thing that your maintenance is. Go for a walk every day for half an hour, 40 minutes, lose a bit of weight, or put some exercise in a deficit, drop the deficit, get a bit more climatized to it, feel a bit more comfortable with it. Eat. I'm not going to say eat whatever you want, because I'm against eating shit. I don't like food like products. I don't like scum. I do eat some. I'm not
But what you're saying,
preaching from a high horse. But
whatever foods you enjoy in there in a small.
You have to have long-term sustainability and a good education of food. The same way that you have an education at work, when I'm not hitting targets, I need to step my game up. The same way, the kids at school, they're failing. You got to put some pressure on this kid, man. They can't repeat grade 4. It's going to be an embarrassment. It's going to be bad for him psychologically later. Pump him up. Get some tutoring. No one gets tutoring as an adult.
Is that you?
Not yet. Not yet. I think what they done for me was like get him out of school ASAP. Just put him up and get him out, sort of thing.
He's getting a headache.
Yeah, but that like you said, Louise, in the health stores, and the health oil, Heart Foundation tick of approval, and
5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars, the top of the food pyramid, saying to eat very minimal of this, and they've actually done. I think someone in like 2013 or 2012 told whoever came up with the food pyramid, and they're like, oh, it's copyrighted for 49 years or something, so we can only change it in 2021, but we can't do anything about it now. But we understand through research and whatnot that it may not be 100% correct, and they're like, 100%? If you look at that food pyramid and you eat it, you're going to become unhealthy if you eat based on that. And if you eat based on whether it's good fat, bad fat, saturated, trans fat, polyunsaturated.
Yeah, because you look at cereals, this is like sugar and...
Don't get me started on cereals. No, don't get me started on Kellogg's. Don't get me started on Kellogg's.
Well, they rule the world as well, I think. And then have that with your...
I read a study...
Nestle coffee.
I read an article that had a study in it. It's like, this is an article, if you want to read it, about cereals. And it was done by the top 3 cereal companies around the world, funded it. And I'm like, that's like me selling you poison and telling you it's good for you because I own the poison.
I eat cereal when I'm trying to bulk myself up and overeat on calories. You know when you've got to the point where I can't eat anymore, but I still have 1,000 calories left from trying to put on muscle. Get the cereal in. Even the normal music, crunchy, all that music.
All that shit's horrible. Like oats, some sort of granola and stuff like that. But when it comes to like Kellogg's, I've had Cocoa Pops last year. I can't remember when, but I remember I went and actually bought Cocoa Pops. I was like, I haven't had this shit for years. I'm going to pump some of this. Proper milk, A2 milk, A2, A2, high protein milk. But I ate it. Couldn't believe how happy I was just eating it. I was like a kid again, bro. I was like a kid. I filled the bowl up 3 times. Like I put more cereal, then more milk. I think I went through the bottle, almost the whole bottle. And afterwards, I was just like, the fuck did I just eat? What is this shit? Like, how is this good for kids? I feel like shit.
But then even going back, like what we're talking about, people are overweight, like they're just under the illusion that they should eat that when they're trying to lose weight or that's healthy. So putting them further into the hole. So it's a dark cycle. The
best way, if anybody, just to throw it out there, some advice for anybody, all right, if you are consuming products and you're not changing, you're not feeling better, you're getting more overweight, more unhealthy, you got less energy, and you're consuming the same products, you have to know that product is not going to take away the problem. That is the problem. So shift it. You might have less of those meals to start with, or compensate one, substitute one meal for something that's good, but you have to know better. If you're getting overweight by eating certain foods, you cannot under any means rectify that eating the same foods.
What was the saying? It was like, to lose weight you can eat anything, you just can't eat everything. Yeah, that's to lose weight. It's actually it's nail on the. Who said that? I can't remember. That's nail on the head shit. Straight. Well, we're saying it's a multifactorial approach, will differ between people. How can people contact you if they want more information? Instagram?
Instagram's probably the go-to. George Accari, ACCARI. DM me if you need anything. I'm happy to help anybody out.
Yeah.
Any advice, reach me through you.
Easy. There you go. We're finish this coffee. We're gonna have a good day. Speak to you all soon.
Absolute pleasure. Have a good day. Thank you.